So, decision time. You could either go in the other room and deal with...
After all I've done today, you expect me to wanna...
Or keep it locked right here, because it's time for the Billy C post-fight wrap-up on the BillyCBoxing.com network. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Billy C.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for Billy C's Triple G Canelo post-fight show. And the fight just ended, in case you missed it. It ended in a draw. That doesn't surprise me. Joining me right now is my man Sal Rocky Senecola. Sal, what'd you think of the fight? I guess Sal doesn't. We'll get back to Sal in a second. As a matter of fact, we are going to try to get a hold of my man Larry Hazard. But I watched the fight. I personally scored it 116-112. I felt that Triple G won the fight, although I thought that Canelo came on strong at the end. But in my opinion, I thought that Triple G won the fight. And like I said, in my opinion, 116-112 is the way I scored it. I thought it was a good fight. I didn't know, maybe what the judges were thinking, but joining me right now is my man Larry Hazard. Larry, what'd you think of the fight?
I thought Triple G won. I had the exact same score as Harold Letterman, believe it or not. And I thought Triple G won the fight 116-112. Okay, I gave Alvarez had 4 rounds. I had it 8 rounds to 4. The exact same score as Harold Letterman.
I had the same score.
In my opinion, Triple G, which I thought Alvarez was going to win the fight, but Triple G nullified all of his power. He walked right through. I mean, he was the ring general. In my opinion, he just dominated. Mainly, he dominated the majority of the rounds.
I had it the same score as you, 116-112. I did give the last 2 rounds to Canelo. What was up with the first judge who scored it 118-110 for Canelo? How do you score it like that?
That's that Adelaide Bird. I thought she did a very poor job once again. Okay, and I think she was a judge of concern prior to this fight, by the way. Okay, they had concern for her, and she proved them right again. I think that she did a very poor job in this particular fight, which I am often reluctant to openly criticize judges, but I think that I just think that she did a poor job in this fight by scoring the majority of this fight for Alvarez. I really did. And there was concern that Golovkin could not get a fair shot in Vegas. I mean, and I just hate to see some of that stuff come to pass.
Well, I didn't think he could win a decision. I did have a listener. I'll give him props on Monday, but I did have a listener that, or actually Tuesday, we're not doing a show on Monday, but I am going to give some props to one of our listeners who said, hey, nobody picked the draw, and he picked the draw. So, but real quick, because we're going to open up phone lines, Larry, I appreciate you taking some time, but what'd you think of the job that the referee did?
Okay, Willie.
What'd you think the referee? What about the job the ref did?
Well, I thought the referee did a decent job. At least he stayed out of the way and he let him fight. Okay?
Yeah.
I can't have any complaints on that. He allowed him to fight.
There was a couple of times where he broke them up on the inside. I would have liked to have seen either fighter fight their way out. It seemed like Canelo was waiting and waiting. It looked to me like he tired a little bit. He did come on strong in the last 2 rounds. Yeah. But I thought Triple G won the fight. I thought he did enough to win the fight. He controlled the action. He neutralized Canelo. Like you, I had it 116-112. At least they didn't do the full robbery. I would think that we got to see a rematch at this point. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this merits a rematch, and in my opinion, it was worth the money. This was, in my opinion, a pay-per-view event. As you can see, it was a step above the normal fights that you get, on free TV, and I think it was very worthy of pay-per-view, and I think it's worthy of a rematch.
Yeah,
this is what we like to see in boxing.
I tell you, I agree with you. I wish all fights were like this. But Larry, we'll talk to you more on Wednesday, my man.
Okay, Billy.
All right, thanks a lot for taking the time with us, brother.
Okay, very good.
That's Larry Hazard, and you'll catch some more of Larry on Wednesday when we get to talk more about the fight. But in case you're just tuning in, the fight ended in a draw. And I, for one, felt that Triple G won the fight. I scored the fight 116-112, just the way Larry did, just the way Harold Letterman did. I did give the last 2 rounds to Canelo. I thought that Canelo won the last 2 rounds. But let's see if we got Sal on the line now. Sal, are you there?
I am here, Billy. How are you?
What'd you think of the fight, my man?
I scored it exactly how Harold Letterman scored it. I had the fight 116-112. I did give Canelo Alvarez the last 2 rounds, but I did overall, I believe I gave Triple G 8 rounds to 4. And did I expect a little more? Maybe, but was it a good fight? Yes, it was. It took a little while for them to marinate, if you will, teasing, and to get into it and exchange, but it was pretty much how I said it was going to be. And I knew that Triple G was going to be the aggressor. I knew that he was going to be landing some heavy blows. Canelo Alvarez, to his credit, did a good job with some counter punching, and early on in the fight, looking like he was slipping some punches and hitting Triple G with his speed, and I think that caught him off guard. But I gave Triple G, especially after the 3rd round, more and more momentum was going to Triple G. And I gave him the fight, 116-112. I don't know what Adelaide Byrd saw, and I'm totally appalled by that. 118-110 for Alvarez. I can't believe that. I really can't believe it.
I've been talking about Alvarez's weakness for months, and I think it came into play and was pretty obvious today. His game plan was correct. Try and move and keep movement, use movement and a body attack to neutralize Triple G. The problem is Canelo can't land effective punches while he's on the move. And what forced him, because he can't do it, it forced him to actually try to fight off the ropes, counter punching, and that was Triple G's strength. And even his own corner was saying, get away from the ropes, get away from the ropes. And I just think that it became magnified of what I've been saying for months. I mean, he has movement. He's got hand speed. He can counterpunch. Obviously, I'm talking about Canelo. But the one thing he can't do is punch effectively while he's on the move. And because of that, he let Triple G dictate the pace. Once again, I felt Triple G controlled most of the fight. With the ring, he was cutting off the ring. He was moving Canelo where he wanted. He did start off a little slow. I think Triple G could have thrown a little more punches, maybe not show as much respect for Canelo as he did. It almost seemed like he was stunned by some of the punches, although he didn't act it. But he certainly was seeming to give him a lot of respect. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. I thought he gave him a little too much respect, but then again, I wasn't taking those shots. He did give Canelo Alvarez a lot of respect, and some of those shots were clean, some of those shots were good, and but we saw Triple G wade through a lot of those shots, and he just kept coming and coming and coming like a locomotive, and he rallied where he could. He threw some good combinations. And Canelo did as well. Canelo threw not just one punch or 2 punches. He threw punches. He threw, 4, 5, 6, and some of them landed. Some of them did not. I was impressed that Canelo did do as well as he did. I thought he would have faded a little bit more towards the later rounds. And like I said, I had him win in the last 2 rounds. So he did come back. He wanted to show that everybody that he was the fighter. He was there, and he wasn't going to get beat. I do think that Triple G won the fight. I stick by my decision, 116-112. I think that a rematch, I think will be in Triple G's favor. I think he'll respect Canelo to a degree, but I think the rematch will see more dominance from Triple G, and I think Triple G will get to him earlier or get to him more.
Well, all the talk about Triple G slowing down and all of this stuff, I wasn't there tonight. But, hey, Sal, we're going to open up the phone lines, and unfortunately when I answer the phone line, it's going to kick you to the curb, but I will call you back as soon as we got done. So hang in there until we get our first call. It's 845-228-8710 is the phone number, so give us a call, and we'll get you on. What's your thoughts of the fight that just ended, Triple G and Canelo Alvarez? I agree with you, Sal. I think that there should be a rematch. I'm sure there'll be a rematch. I mean, they both make a ton of money. I'm not so sure how the rematch will go, though. I don't know if it's the same fight. If Triple G comes out with reckless abandon, if Canelo tries to step on the gas, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the game plans are for a rematch. But I definitely think that we will get a rematch here, and we will be getting back to Sal in a second. But first, we're going to answer. We got somebody on the line right now. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Clark coming from Tucson.
Hey, Clark, what's up? What'd you think of the fight?
It was a good fight, man. It was a really good fight. It was delivered completely. I think that draw caught everyone by surprise. And I just want to know what you think. How bad is a rematch? Does it kind of suck for GGG, Triple G? Do you think it's bad for him? You think he might be a little bit slower the next time around?
He definitely seems slow. I mean, compared to Canelo, he seems slow, but and he didn't. The thudding punches that he usually throws didn't seem to hurt Canelo. I'm open for a rematch. Yeah. I'm curious to see how the rematch would go. I mean, as time goes, I don't care how good Triple G is. He's getting old, man. He's 35 years old, and how long are they going to make him wait?
I think the rematch would be good, as long as it's quick too. As long as they get right on it.
I scored at 116, 112. I honestly didn't think it was that close. I'm a little surprised at the draw, but I mean, that's the way boxing is. Golden Boy. I mean, right. I thought Triple G had to knock him out, to tell you the truth. I didn't think he would win on scorecards. We talked about that on the show earlier in the week.
I thought the same thing.
Well, listen, what was your thoughts on the performance of both? What improvements would you make if you're Canelo?
Oh, man. Gosh, man. The way Triple G kind of just smothered everything he was doing. Oh, man. If I were to better myself, man, that's a tough one, really. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If he could learn how to hit on the move, if he could throw and land effective punches on the move, he wins the fight easy. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it, and that was a weakness. But, hey, man, I appreciate the call. We're going to take some more calls, my man.
Hey, take care. You guys have a good one.
All right, brother. Take care. Yep, a lot of people feel the same way, that Triple G won the fight. We got another caller on the line. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Andrew from Calgary, Alberta.
Andrew, how you doing, my man? How you been?
I'm good. I was doing very good up until I heard the scorecards for this very good fight, which I thought Gennady Golovkin won.
Yeah, well, how'd you score it? What'd you score it, Andy?
I actually scored it 117, 111, but looking back at it, I think when I watch it tomorrow, when I don't have as much alcohol streaming through my system, I might come to the same score of 116 to 112 as you and Harold Letterman did. But 118 to 110 for Canelo, come on. I'm sorry, I think that guy had more drinks than me.
I think she did. And I did mark a couple of rounds, like round 10 and round 3, in my opinion, were extremely close. So even if you give those 2 rounds to Canelo, assuming the judges are in De La Hoya's payroll, maybe that's where the score tightened up. But I don't know. I'm with you, brother. I thought that Triple G won the fight. At least they didn't rob him all the way. At least they gave him a draw.
Yeah, that was a big scare. As soon as I heard Adelaide Byrd scores the fight 118-110 for Canelo, this chill went through my body like, oh, no, don't do this, don't do this. I mean, a draw is not as bad as giving it to Canelo, but still, it's pretty bad.
There's no doubt about that. Hey, listen, that's why I said earlier in the week, I felt that Triple G had to knock out Canelo, had to knock him out to win the fight, but we got a draw, so I don't know. Like I've been saying, Canelo can't hit effectively on the move. I think it was magnified tonight, Andy.
Oh, definitely. Most definitely.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you calling with your thoughts, and we'll look forward to you next time, brother.
Thank you. I look forward to doing this again.
All right, man. Have a beer for me, will you?
Definitely. I'm going to go have several more.
There you go. Thanks, brother. Have a good one.
You too.
That's my man, Andrew. He usually calls in. So phone line is open, 845-228-8710. We'll take another caller. Then we're going to get Dax and Sal back on the line. We'll get Dax's thoughts. But as a matter of fact, maybe I will try to get those guys back now. And we'll hold off on the phone lines here for a second. And maybe Dax can give us a call now. And we'll have we'll see what's going on with that. But I'm back with Sal. And Sal, what'd you think of the last caller? I mean, he was a little surprised at the draw. I was too. I got to be honest.
Well, you said it earlier, and all week last week, that you hope that it doesn't go to the scorecards because you thought if anything was going to be a decision, it was going to go to Canelo Alvarez's favor. And I tell you, with Adelaide Byrd, whatever she was looking at, I'll tell you, that just amplified your statement.
I'll tell you what she was looking at. She was looking at the check that Oscar De La Hoya gave her to score it in her favor. I mean, that's
you're right. You're right, Billy. It was ludicrous. That was not the fight, Bill. No way. I mean, I can't see 118, 110. I almost saw that for Triple G. But I thought I was being pretty unbiased and very fair and objective, scoring it at 116 and 112. But because I think there were a couple sway rounds that I did put a star next to, 3, 10, and 11. I could have gone either way with that. I went to Canelo on those rounds, actually, and one round for Triple G. So even with those going swaying to the difference of Canelo, I still had him losing the fight. And did Triple G look like the world beater? No, but he still looked like he was effective enough. He looked a little slow at times. But like I said, those stunning, heavy punches, even though they weren't the kind of heavy rocks that I thought he was going to land, they still took their toll. Canelo Alvarez still felt them, and they gave each fighter a lot of respect. And that's why I think in a rematch, I don't think Triple G will give Canelo Alvarez quite as much respect.
We got Dax on the line with us now, too, Sal. Dax, what did you think of the fight, brother?
It was a good fight. I thought it was a very good fight. Was it a great fight? No, but I thought it was a very good fight. Unfortunately, it was marred by the ending, with the scores, obviously. But, looking at this fight, I really am happy in a way that it didn't take place after the Canelo versus Cotto fight, because I really don't think Canelo was mature enough as a fighter inside the ring, and I think that Triple G would have actually ran over him. But what you've seen tonight is actually the difference between a very good world-class fighter in Canelo, who's definitely a pound-for-pound fighter, and then you've seen somebody like Triple G, who is able to do what he wants when he wants. The criticism on Triple G is I believe he's become so good and so proficient, whether or not it's outboxing guys like he did with David Lemieux, or it's just brutally knocking guys out, that anytime he's not totally dominating every second, people are saying, oh, no, he's not doing well. Does that make sense? Because that seems like what happens every single time Triple G doesn't do that great for even a single moment or a lull in the fight.
Yeah, well, I mean, people expect him to just blow people away. Real quick, Dax, because you got a bad video connection too. It seems overlit. But let me just ask you this: were you as sick of the commentating as I was? I mean, were those guys pathetic? I mean, Roy Jones, And Jim Lampley, he's lost the ability to call a fight without the punch stat numbers. When Max Kellerman is the best guy on the staff, I couldn't even listen to the Three Stooges. I really couldn't. I don't know who the other bozo was, kept getting everybody's name wrong. But what'd you think of the commentating?
Well, Roy Jones, always, he cannot go a fight where any fighter is in a division that he has fought in, where something happens and he cannot somehow interject himself, whether it's an elbow or something like that, he has to bring in. Well, Roy Jones would have been kicked out of the sport or banned for life. He has to. Roy Jones has become that desperate guy who was just sitting there behind there, more worried about getting a little bit of attention than he is actually calling the fights, and hopefully they'll get rid of him. As for Jim Lampley, again, I believe that, he's a guy who he knows he's being phased out. He can't call stuff the way he used to call it. He has to call it the way that favors these guys that are signed with HBO, or else, he's going to be phased out a little bit quicker. So I think that's the problem there, and we see that more and more with all the networks, not just with HBO. But this was a great fight. Whether or not it warrants a rematch, I think it does. But, again, Triple G showed he's a lot different than the average person. The fact his chin, the punches that he was taking from Canelo, and how relaxed he was. He wears guys down mentally, he wears you down physically, and that's what separates him, and that's what makes him such a great fighter, and that's what's going to make him one of those guys that after he retires, he's going to be appreciated more in the category of maybe a Vladimir Klitschko or Lennox Lewis or somebody like that.
Dax, I appreciate it. We're going to take some more callers here, and we'll be hearing from you next week. We won't be doing a show Monday, but Tuesday we'll get your full thoughts on the fight, all right?
All right, everybody, enjoy your night.
That's Dax Khan. You can check him out on the show on Monday when we come back, and we're going to get Sal back on here in a second. We're going to take some other callers that keep calling in. Phone line is open, 845-228-8710. So we'll take a caller right now. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Ricardo calling from Philadelphia.
Ricardo from Philadelphia. What'd you think of the fight, my man?
Man, it was a great fight, but Triple G definitely got robbed. I mean, are you kidding me? 118, 110 Canelo? For real?
Does it really? Wait a minute, man. Did it really surprise you? I mean, Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo gets to come out first. Did it really shock you? I mean, I thought that Triple G had to knock him out. I think, to tell you the truth, first of all, I scored the fight 116-112, so I agree with you. I thought Triple G won the fight. But at least he got a draw. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they robbed him fully.
I mean, that's exactly what I was saying. And right before the judges came back with the score, I turned to my wife and I said, here comes the robbery. We're in Vegas, De La Hoya, and sure enough, there we were.
Well, as soon as they started picking up Canelo and saying, we won it, we did it, you won, you're the new, I'm saying to myself, oh, my God, here we go, man, here we go. But
Triple G walked him down the entire fight, stuck the jab in his face the entire fight, imposed his will from basically the third round on, and he was robbed. It's crazy. This is what turns people off.
You're right. So and that's exactly what happens on Monday morning around the water cooler at the office. Somebody's gonna say, I'm not really a big boxing fan. I got the fight, but this is why. I just remembered why I don't watch it, because you watch a fight, you think fighter A wins, and you get shocked at the end, What'd you think of the comment? We were just talking about the commentating crew. I can't take those three guys anymore, especially Jim Lampley. I mean, Lampley can't call a fight anymore without the punch stats. And I think the punch stats mixed it up. I think they were punching in the wrong key for the first round. And Jim Lampley's like, I didn't think he won, but hey, the punch stats said he won. It's pretty sickening. It's hard to watch them.
One thing that you guys are dead on about is they are starting to call the fights for their guy that's signed to HBO, and it's just not unbiased anymore, and everybody knows this. This is what turns us off on boxing. The fight itself was great. Canelo's got heart. He lost that fight, though.
Hey, did you notice the commentating? They're all Canelo, 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 and all of a sudden the fight clearly was taking a turn. And they jump ship faster than a sinking. Next thing you know, well, he's finally in shape. He's doing what he's doing. He's taking over. I'm like, oh my God. What do they have, like a cue card? Okay, now it's time to jump ship. But
hey,
anyway.
that Triple G jab though, it's one of the best in the business.
The what? What's Triple G's jab? Yeah, there's no question about that. And I keep patting myself on the back, but the truth is I've been saying this about Canelo, and I swear if he could do it, he would have won the fight. If he could have landed punches on the move effectively, he wins that fight. He just couldn't do it. That's why he found himself against the ropes all night, and that was right up Triple G's alley. That's what he wanted him to do.
Yeah, you got it, man. Hey, listen, I'm a big fan of you guys. Keep it up. I appreciate everything you do.
Hey, I appreciate the call, man. Thanks a lot.
All right, man.
Take care. That's another caller feeling that we got that Triple G kind of got robbed a bit, huh? No doubt about that. Phone line is open, 845-228-8710. I'll take one more caller, and then I got to get Sal back on and get some thoughts from him about the undercard, the rest of the fight. For the money, I really would have liked to have seen some better fights. They were not. It's not they weren't competitive fights. I thought that the other fights were competitive for the pay-per-view, but I just didn't think they were pay-per-view worthy, especially on a card like this. We got another caller on the line. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Mike from Michigan.
Hey, Mike from Michigan. How you doing, my man?
It's been a long year, a lot of deaths in the family. But anyways, about the fight, man, I'm sorry. I have one object to listen to you, to chat, and then to call. So I'm trying to do all three at once. It's just difficult. But that lady who scored that bout should be disbarred or whatever it is. I don't know how you explain it, because that was just so awful.
You mean 118 to 110 for Canelo?
That's actually worse than well, I don't know about worse, but it's on par with the draw for Canelo when he got blown out by Floyd, basically. But I think everyone has the same scorecard. It seems like I think everyone has the Harold Letterman scorecard for the most part. Clearly a win for Triple G. Clearly, is what I thought.
I thought Triple G won the fight 116-112.
I might have some rounds mixed up, but I got the same. I got the same outcome.
I thought that it was an entertaining fight. I was impressed with Diego De La Hoya. He impressed me, but I didn't think any of those other fights deserved to be on a pay-per-view, personally. I just didn't think so.
No, and you know what? For how crazy Teddy Atlas is, he is right about one thing. It has to be incompetence or corruption, and it has to be corruption, because you can't be that dumb to score a fight 118 to 118 to 110, while the other two judges scored it for the other guy basically the exact same. It has to be corruption. It just has to be.
Or they just don't know what they're doing, Mike. I mean, it could simply be the fact that they're incompetent.
Well, then I should be a judge. Shit.
Exactly.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
No, exactly. I mean, that's the sad part. You got people that are determining results of fights that don't know how to score fights. You got people that are judging, that are refereeing fights that shouldn't be refereeing fights. So you got trainers that shouldn't be training fighters. They shouldn't be in the corners. So
exactly.
it's a shame. It's a shame. But hey, man, I'm glad you called in, and I hope everything turns around for you. And we hope to hear from you again soon.
Thank you. All right, thanks a lot.
You got to call us more often, brother.
All right.
All right, Mike.
I'll be listening. Thank you.
Take care. That's Mike from Michigan. Haven't heard from him in a while. I'm glad he called. But yeah, I think for the most part, everybody's feeling the same way. That it was kind of a, anytime you see a fight that's close, and 116-112. I mean, it's not like it was. I think it was a close fight. There was a couple of rounds, like I said, on my scorecard. What did I have? I had round 10 with a note that said extremely close. I had round 3 was extremely close, and well, actually, those are the 2 rounds I thought that could have gone either way. So even if you put those 2 rounds and give them the Canelo. You still have a 1-point advantage for Triple G on my scorecard. I think he won the fight. Calling it a robbery. A robbery would have been if all 3 judges scored it 118-110. That would have been a robbery, right, Sal?
I think a robbery would have been giving the fight to Canelo Alvarez, no matter how close the points were. That would have been a robbery because, like I said, clearly I gave Triple G the victory. Not by a point, but by several. But even if he won by a point, like I said, I had a couple sway rounds. 2 or 3 sway rounds I gave to Canelo Alvarez's favor. So even if I gave him 3 of the sway rounds in his favor, it would have been maybe 115, 113. Triple G still wins. So I don't know. I think... like I said, Adelaide Bird, she's for the birds.
The undercard, I thought Diego De La Hoya looked good. He fought, obviously, in my opinion anyway, the toughest opponent to date. He looked impressive. But Jojo Diaz, he looked good. I mean, he won a one-sided fight. And Blue Chip Martin maybe got a gift. So I mean, all in all, the card was good and competitive. It's what we want from a boxing card, but I'm not so sure I want that on a pay-per-view. I want bigger fights. Watching prospects make that transition to a contender. That's not for a pay-per-view, man. That's for ESPN. That's for maybe opening up a quadruple header on HBO or Showtime. I don't know. I was a little disappointed in the rest of the card in terms of the quality, or let me rephrase that, in terms of the level of the fights. I would have liked to have seen, A fighters fighting A fighters instead of showcase fights. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I mean, you could have title elimination fights. You could have had something else exciting. Like I said, I thought would have been wonderful, would have been fantastic, was to showcase and maybe have as a semi-wind-up put a David Lemieux fight on. It's the same weight class. And, David Lemieux could be back in the mix to get a rematch with one of these guys. Well, he didn't fight Canelo Alvarez, I don't think, but he fought Triple G. I think that would have been a nice showcase. I would have loved to have seen David Lemieux back in action. And I thought it would have been a compliment to the main event.
You mentioned David. You mentioned David Lemieux, and I don't think Canelo hits harder than David Lemieux, and David Lemieux, didn't stop Triple G. I think you got to give credit to both fighters and their chins. I think Canelo showed that he's got a solid chin too. And he was rolling with a lot of the punches to avoid the full impact of Triple G. And his movement and his body work was just enough to prevent Triple G from really kicking it up into knockout notch. At the end of the day, Triple G, I thought, won the fight. I mean, it's a shame that's the way it is in this sport.
That's the way it is. That's the way the punches landed or punches thrown. And, hey, you know what? We get a rematch. So that's the worst case scenario. Like I said, I think Triple G is a little more dominant in a rematch. I think Canelo Alvarez hit Triple G with the best that Canelo Alvarez has. And Canelo Alvarez hit him with some good, solid shots. To the credit, they both have good, solid chins. But I think Triple G next time will wait through a lot of those punches and just keep his balance and momentum in trying to land those heavy hands that I did not see as heavy tonight. To Canelo Alvarez's credit, I think, but I think Triple G took the best of what Canelo Alvarez could have dished out. In other words, and I don't think that Canelo Alvarez has had the opportunity to taste what the best of Triple G could throw. So I think there again, I think that in a rematch, I think that Triple G will have Canelo Alvarez's number for the rematch.
Well, Sal, we'll talk a lot about this fight, our final thoughts after we get to watch it again, and we won't be doing a show Monday,
Yes.
but we will be doing a show Tuesday. You're breaking up a little. I guess your internet's got to get used to having power again. I'm glad to see, and I'm noticing a little beard you got going on there, huh?
You know, we haven't had water, and I couldn't shave. You know, and I've been entertaining a little bit of rough scruff. You know, what the heck? I'm back in training too.
Yeah. Oh, hey, that's good. That's good. Sal,
I want it.
We'll be talking on Tuesday morning, my man.
You got it, buddy. Thank you. I'm glad we had an entertaining fight. That at least it was.
This is true.
Good entertaining fight.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon. That's
Take care,
Sal Rocky Sanacola. We're getting some technical problems there, but we'll fix that, and he'll be back on Tuesday. My final thoughts here on the fight. I have a couple of concerns. I wonder if at the end of the day, if now that we have a rematch, is Triple G going to have any say in the rematch? I mean, everything, all the concessions went to Canelo for the first time around. I would think that it has to change the second time around. I mean, quite honestly, Triple G, for the most part, the fans could all believe that he won the fight. I really don't know, and it's going to be interesting to see between now and when we get back on the air on Tuesday to see if people actually thought Canelo won the fight to justify a rematch. I don't know. But one last time, I thought that Canelo lost the fight. I scored at 116-112, similar to Larry Hazard scored it that way. My man Sal scored it that way. Harold Lederman scored it that way. But who didn't score it that way were the three official judges. One scored it 118-110 for Canelo. One judge had it 115-113 for Triple G. And the third had it 114-114 even. But as soon as we heard the one go for Canelo and one go for Triple G, we knew damn well that the third one was going to be even. And it'll set up a rematch, you would think. If I'm Team Triple G, I want everything my way this time. And if Canelo doesn't want to do it that way, forget about Canelo. Move on. Triple G has already done everything he had to do in the middleweight division. He's clearly beaten all of the best fighters in the middleweight division, even though this particular fight is on his record now as a draw. So interesting. Neither one gets a loss, but they both pick up a draw. So anyway, we appreciate you coming by for the Billy C's Triple G Canelo post-fight show. And one last time, we will not be doing a live show on Monday, but we will be back Tuesday. Sal and I will be giving you our final thoughts, and as well as discussing all the latest boxing news. If you're new and stumbling across this show, make sure you tune in 8 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday live, or just go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/talkin, TALKIN, boxing, BOXING, and watch whenever you want. Or just visit our website, www.billycboxing.com. Hey, I'm Bill Calogero. Thanks for joining us. And we're done. So I'll leave you with this. Ciao, baby.